All right, welcome back. I'm doing a quick APOC Tetra teaching video. So first off, Tau lost deployment, so the Imperial Guards have set up their fields of fire to have the majority of the city. First Tetra is going to scout from there. Second Tetra is going to hide up under the building 6 inches away from the edge. Third Tetra will be off the table because Tetras do not have infiltrate, they have scout, which means they can outflank. So I have to wait to turn 2. Now, Imperial Guards, they're not going to move. They have no line of sight, so they can't shoot. But before the game starts, Tau forces are going to move up. Again, blocking line of sight. The Imperial Guard, sensing an ambush, are not going to come out to do anything too silly or ridiculous. City's on fire, blah, blah, blah. Tau turn 1. I can deep strike. Yes. Is it worth deep striking? Technically, no. In Apocalypse and in normal games, you have a time limit to when reinforcements can come in. In Apocalypse, I can drop my reinforcements now. 6 inches away from any Tetra, I won't miss, and I'll have a dead shot. Riptide versus the front end of a Baneblade is not the best deal in the world. Strength 9 versus Armor 14. 5 glance, 6 pin, so you need a 6 and a 6 to really hurt its day, but it's a super heavy, so you're only going to do a couple of hull points. Dumb. So, I wouldn't do that turn 1 of APOC. 109. I can deep strike the 109 and it counts as hovering. It can one-shot a Baneblade if it lands in the right spot and does enough damage. Would I risk it at this range? No. So what's going to happen? I'm going to go 12, which is about here, guesstimating, and go fast, flat out, and I'm going to haul over here. Now, Tetra's technically flat out up to 30. That's mega dangerous. Outflanking. Outflanking can happen because I'm a fast skimmer, and what I'm going to do with this other Tetra is I'm going to roll, and I'm going to say for sake of argument, I rolled a 6. I'm going to outflank and come up right here. I want to come from the edge, move 12, go over the building, boom. Now it's interesting. Other Tetra isn't going to move for the simple fact that that Tetra, I can turn my backside and this entire right side into anywhere I can walk out from. So, Imperial Guard Baneblade doesn't really want to risk exposing his butt to Tau forces that haven't come in yet to the side of the board. In regular games, the Tetras could come on turn 2 if you rolled a 4 better. But using their homing beacon, which is included for the 35 points, doesn't activate the turn they come in. It activates the following turn, what you got to be wary of. So, continuing to move up. This Tetra, now getting greedy, he's going to go up and then flat out. So now, this would never happen in a real game, and I know I have a person who used to watch my videos who got mega butthurt when his precious Imperial Guard were blown up, and I said, those are my Imperial Guard, and this is a teaching video. So, first and foremost, in reality, the Tetra that you're looking at would be dead. The sponsons, the turrets alone would have wiped it out. Now, if we're using the homing beacon of the far right, my far right, Tetra, boom, 109 is going to land, point blank range. I would Nova charge or attempt to Nova charge for his missiles just to have the kill ratio going. I'm trying to do as much damage as I can. I want guaranteed kills. So the other Riptides are going to come down within 6 inches. And I have to adjust my landing zone to get everyone in. So that's 1, 2, and we're just going to say the Riptides are in a squad, so they'll be together. Skull 8, and then I have to paint an ivory or a fleur-de-lis. I think I'm going to do a fleur-de-lis 8 for the other one, in honor of the sorority chapter at my alma mater. I've been debating forever on how to finish off that riptide. Now I got perfect idea. I just gotta do it. Just do it. I gotta bring the stencils from home. I'll knock it out tomorrow. Okay. So now, the first landing. Statistically, I even have dice. Wow. I keep forgetting I got awesome stuff in my classroom. Sometimes. Alright. These dice don't roll so hot for me all the time. But for sake of argument. Okay. Let's see how many shots I get on the D3. I have 4 shots. Alright, I forgot to finish movement. Movement's important. So, let's say this Tetra survives. He's going to move out to shoot his marker lights. I have a bad habit of doing that for people that know me. I'm glad some of my opponents forgive me. And I only need the first 2 marker lights. Because after they deep strike, I can move the Tetra. So let's move the Tetra. Tetra's going to move, have line of sight. Thank God opponents don't get covered from marker lights. So, here's the situation. 4 marker lights, twin linked. 3 hit. 3 hit. So, we're going to use 1 for the 109, meaning his missiles hit on 3. He has a total of 4 missiles, which are EMP hits. Side armor is 13 on a Baneblade. So first off, 1 miss. Sorry, 1 hit out of all that. I should use more marker lights. So that's 1 EMP hit and a nothing on the side. Uh-oh. Riptides. Gonna use both marker lights. If I had a squad of 3, they would count as both skill 5 with the new wording on squads. So we're gonna do ripple fire, and then we're going to fire off template. So 4 shots from fusion blasters on the side armor here. All hit. First one, pin, well, glance. Second one, pins. Number 3, pins. Number 4, pins. So that's 2 hull points. 3 pins. I need 5s. Yeah, so this one's going to go up like a Roman candle. D-weapon explosion, everyone goes home. And that's how nasty Tetras can be with just riptides and a 109. Now we're going to start the shooting over. Marker lights. 2 hits so far. 3 hits so far. So now what we're going to do is the 109 is going to get 2 marker lights to hit a BS5. How many missiles? 4 again. Boo! These dice hate me. That's why I think I stopped using them. Okay, so 3 hits. So that's 3 hull points, possibly. Let's see. EMP. That's 3 glances. I have 3 missiles that hit. Yeah. So strength 8 versus the side armor 13. So that's 3 glances, 5 glances, and a pin. Pin won't do anything since an AP1, so that's a total of 6 hull points off this one. This is when you run a retaliation cadre and you drop multiple things around your targets to finish them off. I have 2 crises in class, but I don't want to put them in a video to show you. So with this one down to 3 hull points, riptides are going to focus over here with their regular shots. I'm not within 9 inches, so might as well finish this one off. Twin linked. All hit. So the first one is a pin. Second one is a pin. This baby's gone, and we don't even have to fire off the main guns. So even at the worst, that's a glance and a pin, or a pin and nothing. So it's gone. Let's roll the 3 results. That will count. It explodes. So we're automatically going to take out 1 Baneblade. The explosion, maybe it might end up doing a D-weapon hit and rolling a 6, or it might roll over and hit us. But this is the power of the Tetra. The Tetra can outflank, giving you access to a possible landing zone on either side. It can scout forward. Its total flat-out movement is 30, because it's a fast skimmer. Homing beacon, twin link marker light, and twin linked pulse rifle are awesome things. So, without the further comments, I normally only upgrade to disruption pod on Tetras when I know I'm fighting an army that denies basic cover, or they find ways to get around cover. For 50 points, 35 points, they're cheap. 4 is 140 points. Run them in squads of 1 or 2, or run a separate CAD for all the multiples you're going to run. I'm going to order 3, and that brings me up to 8 total. I'm going to try to get another video in where I use more models and I combine tables, because I'm looking kind of light, and I'll have a tape measure tomorrow. But this is the intro for the Tetra usage. Again, in tighter urban settings, this terrain is not the best. It's drop pod scale from the drop zone commander game from the UK, which is a beautifully scaled game, but it's not 40k scale terrain. Also, Bane Blades wouldn't sit still, they'd roll forward and try to annihilate the Tetras and tank shock them and keep them out of the way. But in APOC, most opponents cannot stop everything. They cannot see everything, they cannot predict everything. Experienced anti-Tau players will find something else to hunt down your Tetras. That's why I recommend multiples. Talva Israel Boer Sanchez in the Tau Empire group, his Tetras are amazing, and he runs multiples of them that are gorgeous. I recommend them. They're better than Pathfinders. They don't die as quickly as Pathfinders. They can jink. You can give them disruption pod for 3. Even if you don't take the disruption pod, you can give them cover depending on how you use terrain, and terrain will automatically add to the jink roll, or your cover might even be better depending on how much the vehicle is obscured. Me personally, I hide Tetras, and I'll show you an example. If I'm leaning out for a shot, I'll give you that much of the Tetra for line of sight purposes. And if I'm using a disruption pod, I'll say, you know what? If cover's 4 for being 50% obscured, disruption pod will drop that down to 3. I don't have to jink. Jinking with a disruption pod's a 3 anyway, but then you're rolling 6s the following turn to shoot. With that being said, that's one landing zone. The other landing zone from the vehicle that was around the corner, if I'm landing a full retaliation cadre, any of my retaliation cadres between 8 and 9 suits in squads of 3, 2, or 4, up to 12, if I'm mixing my paint schemes. Because I have 2 squads of 9 and 2 squads of 8. And when I want to have a ridiculous squad, I might just do 26 crisis suits in a retaliation cadre. But because they're not on the basis of a retaliation force, a retaliation cadre, I will land them around all of my Tetras. And I'll have to bring my models in and have them get some help setting them up. So if this Tetra that had made it around the front of the building had landed, perfect. And then I need to get 6 inches, which is 6 inches is right there. Move the riptide back, because this riptide would be here. That riptide would be there. The 109 only needs 12 inches for his range, which is right there. So that's how that would look. And that way you can see all the targets. So what you're looking at is that 109, the EMP missile launcher is going to shoot straight down, hit this one. This riptide is either going to help assist finishing off this one or hitting that one. And this riptide, whatever is not finished between the first 2 targets, will handle the third. The crisis suits would finalize what needs to die next. This Tetra would bank out into the smoke, like so, to marker light whichever needed to be hit between the first 2 targets. And that's what you're looking at. Now this is a very small table. My Tetras don't last long because my regular group of guys have seen me use Tetras to brutal effect. So now I double up on Tetras by using Pathfinder teams. In large games when you're playing 10k or more, a 300-point squad of Pathfinders with a recon drone in the ship that's never getting out doesn't really bother you. When you run 3 squads with that and other effects, for example, the Rapid Response Force, I'm going to have 2 of them for mid-area. I might end up with 3 depending on if I can get a really good trade deal on some of my other armies I don't want, like the Eldar. And what will happen is that formation, once it comes out of reserve, if you're playing regular games, use a Tetra to bank them in from any side. If you can sneak a Tetra all the way to the enemy's deployment zone within 6 inches, they can come in from reserve. And then the following turn, you can use that recon drone in the Devilfish. It has to stay in the Devilfish. You will have a beautiful beacon of death right there to annoy your opponents. In regular tournament games, I've seen Tetras enlist, and some people just use them for the marker lights. Other people use them to make their retaliation cadres or whatever deep strikers are using more effective. The ITC ruling where marker lights can't go through void shields sucks. That means your Tetras have to leave, and your Pathfinders have to leave your void shield generators if you use them like I do. Just when I thought I was going to go play a tournament, ITC made sure I didn't want to, because marker lights, granted, are lasers, but they have no strength and no AP value, and when they shoot out, they're shooting a beam of light. I don't think the void shield is going to stop that. So how I get around that is that I would set my void shield up at the edge of my deployment zone, make sure the enemy cannot land in my deployment zone by blocking things out, and have the Tetras go to the limit of the void shields in the scout move, and then turn 1, if they're wasting fire at the Tetras, they're not really doing their job correctly as the opponent, and then let the Tetras run out and get ready for the party. So if you have any questions, please comment on the video, like it, share it, give me a thumbs up, let me know if this was informative or educational, and please, please, please share it to your friends that are tile players. Let them watch it, let them make their own comments. I want feedback on this because I'm going to restart the Hypothetical series this summer. Sadly, I will not have a classroom, and I'll be arguing with the local game shop for having a room for myself for 4 hours a morning, because they open at 10 and they close at midnight during the summer without being interrupted, and I'll try to bribe people to help me move models, like my wife or other gamers. But Tetras are really nasty for delivering pinpoint firepower. You don't scatter within 6 inches. And it depends on which version of the APOX formations you're using. If this was 6th edition, I would be using stealth suits that infiltrate and get up in your face. But 7th edition, Tetras are my new guaranteed death delivery system. So, Kikai no Naka no Akuma. I know this is a long video, almost 20 minutes, which is a record for me. Tetras are the way to go. For about 60 bucks, you get 2 from Forge World. There's other places. Again, I've been asked to refrain from mentioning these other sources. But get them from your other sources. They come out a little bit cheaper. Like I said, me personally, my Forge World purchases, if they ever release the Orca, I'm ordering one the day it comes out on the website. A Manta and about 2 or 3 139s, the Supremacy suits. So thank you, and thank you. I'll try to set up a more realistic fight tomorrow. I'll try to stretch out that table and add a table to it so I can have a full-size city and give you guys more information and more scenarios to watch with. So this video officially restarts my Hypothetical series. Have a great day.